Never sold out my belief. I think you're weak. Go ahead, suck your teeth.
Why was I removed from 109? I was initially removed from IS 109 because of an accusation that I misappropriated funds. And it was interesting that the subplot around this misappropriation was what I was doing with hip hop and education. And I remember being just about in every daily news article, Daily News, New York Post, New York dailies in New York, and on the TV, Channel 7, 4, 2. And it was one of the things that was constantly being repeated was, one, they said initially that I was a lunch money bully, like I was taking kids' lunch money to finance this hip hop project. Then the second thing was that I used the money to purchase limos. And they just put it out there and then just let it hang out there in the atmosphere. And they even took a picture of me in front of the school on a day that we had a health fair outside. And so I had my little sun hat on because we were outside. And the Post had came to cover the health fair. And then they never put the pictures of the health fair or me in the Post. So they just held the pictures. So the picture that was in the Post was not a recent picture when they talked about the allegations. It was a previous picture. But the way they put the picture with the story, it gave a connotation of a hustler, you know, as a shyster, or someone who was like a pimp. And so they had this big headline, you know, lunchroom bully, or the principal of IS 109 is rapped, you know, it's a rap, you know, playing on the word of hip hop and me getting in the situation that they thought that I was in. So the initial investigation was about that. What you don't see in the in that sensationalism is that we had 2 video premieres at York College where 1,000 parents came out in the bleeding cold, and we had premiered our video. The students got an opportunity to get up and talk about their experiences in making it and producing it. We brought red carpet for the students. We brought limousines for the students any student who was involved in the filming process, the budgeting, the directing, and the starring in the video. We brought limos for them. And they rolled into York College and got out of their limos and walked a red carpet with thousands of parents in the street cheering them on as if it was a Hollywood-style premiere. And we're given VIP treatment. And now, why did we do that? One, it's rare that children get attention for doing something positive. And I believe that when you give children positive attention, they become even more positive. And so that was one. The second thing was, what does this do to a child's self-esteem? Listen, you're special. You're the stars. We're here to celebrate you. We're out here clapping you. We want to see you walk your red carpet. We want to celebrate the hard work that you did. And so that's what that was about. The chancellor was at the premiere, Chancellor Klein, although he didn't speak up when this was happening and they said that I used money to buy the limos. The deputy mayor of education, Dennis Wolcott, he was at the premiere and spoke up and celebrated and praised the students. They saw the fanfare, they saw what we were doing, and they didn't have a problem with it. They actually cheered it on. But, you know, when these articles and this sensationalism came, it was Mr. Blake used the money to buy limos with no explanation. So it was very painful for me to have to sit there and deal with these allegations and not have an opportunity to give my perspective, because I knew that I had pending legal situation that I was going to go through. And so I had to sit there and listen to people basically just make up lies about me. And I had to be patient and wait till I had an opportunity to defend myself. Well, what happened with this accusation of misappropriations of funds? After a 3-year investigation into both my personal finances and the school finances, after a long, drawn-out hearing process, I was completely exonerated for any kind of misappropriation of funds. And it was proven that I did not use any money from the lunch to finance limousines. So we haven't heard anything about that in the news. There's been no stories. It's been quiet. At the end of the investigation of the misappropriation of funds, a corporal punishment investigation was tacked on. And in this corporal punishment investigation, it was investigated by the same department and the same investigators that were investigating me for the financial matter, which was unorthodox, because usually there's a specific department in education called the Office of Special Investigations that investigate corporal punishment. And so I was investigated for that. That became added on to my accusation. And after the hearing, when they exonerated me for the financial piece, they said he's guilty of corporal punishment. Now, the basis of them finding me guilty was not by a preponderance of evidence, which when you go to a hearing, they have to have evidence to substantiate why they have come up with a decision. The arbitrator said, and I quote, that I choose to believe that you confessed to a secretary that you committed corporal punishment because of the manner in which she testified. Even though you had 2 eyewitnesses in your office who say that you did not touch the child, I choose to disbelieve them. Even though everyone else who testified against you was not an eyewitness and cannot back up their story with another person saying, yes, he said this or yes, he did that, I'm going to believe them. Even though this young man has a history of violence and lied under oath, both when he was being investigated or when he spoke to the investigators and at the hearing, and has a history of making these allegations at another school where 5 other faculty people who have no knowledge of me, Mr. Blake, who don't work for me, who don't gain any or lose anything for testifying for or against me, said, yes, he came to our school and he made the same allegations because he didn't get what he wanted. I choose to believe the boy. I choose to believe this secretary. And I also choose to believe this treasurer who also said that you confessed, Mr. Blake, even though she was given immunity for her involvement in the financial part of the investigation. So basically, the thing that I was supposed to be investigated for slid to the side, just like Iraq, you know, with the weapons of mass destruction. You know, he has weapons of mass destruction. And then once they got in there, it was like, oh, well, he's an abuser of his people. I mean, they just switched the whole focus. And so the thing that was the sensationalism for the media and and good writing and all these stories, that slid to the background. And the thing that became prominent and that they used to terminate my employment within the Department of Education was a corporal punishment charge based on hearsay and an arbitrator's own biasness.